This, of course, is Cusco, the capital city of the Inca civilization. And this is the church of San Cristobal, one of the oldest churches in Cusco. And this is an Inca wall, but not just any Inca wall. This is what remains of the palace of the first High Inca or Sapa Inca, called Manko Kapak or Malku Kapak. This is classic Inca construction, and the stone is called andesite. It's local. This stone is quite hard, but could have been shaped using the tools present during the time of the Inca. This is the main wall of the palace, and you notice these doors, which are actually false doors. It's unknown what the function of something like this would be. And here is the actual gate entrance to the palace of Malku Kapak. Now, if you've watched some of my videos, you've seen a lot of evidence of the fact that the Inca found an abandoned city and rebuilt it. And here we're going to see more evidence of that, because the andesite stone is local, but in this wall we find basalt. And the basalt quarry is 45 kilometers away. So this is all andesite, local stone. But the lintel, that top piece that's in the center of your TV or screen right now, that is basalt. And again, the basalt is from 45 kilometers away. So there's no logical reason why the Inca would go 45 kilometers in order to collect stone. And these stones weigh in the at least hundreds of pounds. So what we're going to see, in fact, is that the original construction of Cusco before the time of the Inca was basalt stone construction, and there could be literally as much as 1 million tons of basalt stone in the city of Cusco. The question is, who was here before the Inca, and how did they transport all of that stone from that quarry 45 kilometers away? So here again, a lintel of basalt. And again, another lintel of basalt. All of the lintels in this wall are made of the basalt stone. Clearly, the shape is also different, as you can see. You see the polygonal andesite stones, and then the more linear rectangular basalt ones. And here's a more massive chunk of basalt, weighing likely at least 1 ton. And more massive slabs from the quarry of 45 kilometers away. And in fact, the entire church is made of basalt. So it's highly unlikely that the Spanish went 45 kilometers in order to get all of that building material. So I think you're starting to see what I'm presenting, and that's that the basalt was here from a previous civilization that had the capability of moving sometimes massive slabs of stone from distant locations. Something happened to that civilization, possibly a cataclysm, and then the city of Cusco was discovered by the Inca approximately 1,000 years ago. So far we've seen a few examples of evidence that there could have been a more advanced civilization than the Inca here in Cusco. But if you're in an area and you see such evidence, of course, you keep looking. And that's what we're doing right now. So here we have an Inca wall, or a rebuilt Inca wall, but look what we find right next to it. This is megalithic. This is just stone on top of stone with filler. This is mortar-free construction of basalt. And back to the Inca again. The upper is cruder and later. So clearly, whoever did this work was here before the people, as in the Inca, who did this work. So that's the common theme. The later work is worse than the older work. The upper work worse than the lower work. And the Spanish work, which often is on top of the Inca, is even worse. So what's this? No mortar whatsoever, and crappy Spanish or modern reconstruction. And rather than the idea that the Spanish took this building apart, it looks more like something catastrophic happened to it. Especially when you see things like these cracks and major breaks in the stone itself. And here you have fine Inca polygonal work with bad reconstruction with crappy Spanish colonial work as compared to that. Now, in my book Aftershock, I put forward the theory that there was a massive cataclysm that destroyed all of the advanced cultures on the planet. And the time frame I'm suggesting is 12,000 years ago. That's scientifically backed up now as being the end of the Ice Age. And at that time, we see the destruction of advanced cultures in Peru, Bolivia, Egypt, Lebanon, and likely other places on the planet such as Greece, Italy, parts of the Middle East, even in Saudi Arabia, and Southeast Asia as well. So that's just one speck of the evidence here in Cusco and the area, including Sacsayhuaman that has megalithic elements, Ollantaytambo, even famous Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu's core is megalithic, could not have been made by the Inca civilization. So what we know now is that the Inca found these ancient sites, were in awe of the construction techniques, found them to be sacred, built by masters, and therefore they built their own sacred sites at each and every one of those locations, but many, many more in this area, in the highlands of Peru.